You're live. Good morning, Carlos. Good morning,
Good
Facebook. How we
morning.
doing?
Good.
Good, man. Good, man. So we lost our screen share, so let's see if we can get that back up. In the interim, let's go ahead and see if we can do some sharing,
Sharing. Let's get
liking and
this out
sharing of the
here.
post. And let's see if we can get this out there. So happy 47th episode to you, my friend. What's happening? How's life?
Living the dream. I traveled a lot this week.
Where'd you go? I saw you were in Oklahoma or something. Where'd you go?
We went. I went to Illinois on Monday, Oklahoma, and Nebraska, and then so basically I hit Kansas. I was in Kansas this week, Missouri, Illinois, Oklahoma. I was in 5 different states this week.
Wow. Now, what took you all there? Sports or
No, work, buildings. I'm working with some agents, I'm working with some agents and some clients all over. So I got a national client that wants to start building in different states. So I'm going to help. I'm going to invest a little bit in those buildings.
Nice.
So I was trying to find some properties. I wanted to, I went to Illinois to look at an example. So it's a lot of it's investing in commercial properties, restaurants, land. I'm just trying to. He wants to go all over the country, so I'll be in Florida here pretty soon. I hear I'm going to go to what is it? Orlando, Cocoa Beach.
Okay.
Cocoa Beach. Sure. I've never been there, so it should be fun.
Nice.
There's some land. There's some people down there that want to purchase this franchise and build, and so I'm going to go down there and look at some properties.
Nice. It's always a good time when you can get to Florida or near a beach, as far as I'm concerned.
Hey, I don't know. I've never been to Cocoa Beach, but everybody, I told my wife, I'm like, I got an opportunity to go to Cocoa Beach. She goes, "We're there."
Well, you could call me the beach guy, Steve the Beach, because I love the beach and getting around it. But well, welcome. Well, good morning. We had a great guest on last week, Kristen Herman with Northwestern Mutual. A financial planner. It was a great guest. She had some really good information. One of our highest viewed podcasts as well. Our highest by a long shot was Dr. Tamika Bryant, that impromptu one. But Kristen was right there. I mean, right there behind it. So that's awesome and very grateful for her. So what I thought we'd talk about today for a couple of minutes is just going through and recapping. There was so much good information that was shared in that podcast last week. If you didn't watch it, go back and watch it, but we'll encapsulate it a little bit just by, hitting some of the highlights that she shared. I mean, it was some great information, and she's a professional, man, and she just does a phenomenal job. So what I wanted to talk a little bit about today was just hitting some of the highlights of what she mentioned. And so let me see if I can make this a little bit bigger so that everyone can see this. I might, let me see. Hold on. Let's see how we can do this. Carlos. Let's see. Okay. All right. I'll make this a little bit bigger. But, she talked, some of the things that she talked about that were really impressive from my perspective. The first thing she talked about was, having a system. We talked about how frequently she was following up with me and stayed on top of me. And over the course of a couple of years before she finally, converted me to a customer. And, a lot of that was because she had a system, and, a CRM, working out of a CRM, it never amazes me, or I should say it always amazes me how many times I talk to people and they don't have a CRM or some type of system to capture their leads, to help them follow up on those leads. And there's all kind of free options that are out there and available. Carlos, I know you've used a number of them. What's some of the few that you've used in the past? Because you and I have talked about some of the ones you've used.
Yeah. So, I use a lot of different ones. I use, just because I got different businesses, but I really lately I'm trying to, these last few weeks I've been trying to combine and see if I can use one system. I'm seriously learning. I'm trying to for all my businesses, because I use 3, 4 different ones. For Remax, I use the Remax system, and we also, uh, use the free CRM system, and then for the printing, I use a different one because it does quotes, and it keeps track of my square footage, and all that other one. So I use, and then I have the shipping one, which I'll never change that, but that interlinks with my shipping company, the Mail and Copy Plus. So there's a lot of different CRMs, and it is well worth having, just because of the follow-up. It helps. There's a lot of free ones out there that you can do that will help you stay on track. I know there's an agent here that is new, and he is instantly on the CRM. He's using Top Producer, and he loves it because he can schedule his follow-ups. And just like right there, the day one, day 2, day 3, day 4, day 5, you can schedule all of the phone calls. You're supposed to send out emails, text messages. Some of that stuff you can schedule it, and it would automatically do it too. So it helps produce you multiplying by numerous things. I know, those automatic emails don't always get read, but it's worth being in front of people if you can't be in front of everybody personally all the time, which you need to be.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you need to be, absolutely. And yeah, I think the key is like you said, it doesn't really matter which one you have. I use HubSpot, I use Surefire, I use a couple of different ones as well, but the key is making sure you have one that you can capitalize on. So that was one of the things that was very evident. She has a system, she has a process, and she follows that process and uses that system. We talked about an approach, like what is my approach to following up? She mentioned that as well. You just touched on emails and calls and texting and pop-in and mailing, and so having an approach to following up, is also as equally effective as having a system, right? So there's different strategies or approaches to following up. And so that was some of the things that she mentioned as well that I thought, and I knew from getting her emails, I knew from getting her, text messages, I knew from getting her calls that she had different approaches in order to follow up. And that's something that we've talked about before in the past as well. You have a couple of systems as well that you use, and one is your talk to text and your text to chat and all that stuff, so you've got a couple of different systems in place too, right?
Yeah. And the thing is to have the plan. Having a marketing plan is important. Having a follow-up plan, that's part of my marketing, because you get one client, how are you going to market to that one client? So you got to have a plan, and you got to build it up, and you got to look at it. That's what these things are for. That's what these lists that you have up here are for. Okay, when I get one client, what am I going to do with them to get it to the end? So you have to have some kind of plan in place to figure out how you're going to meet the client to close the client.
Yeah, how to convert them, absolutely. The other thing is talking about, closing is understanding the numbers. She talked and shared some numbers that were pretty impressive, also very encouraging when you get to the point to where you feel like you're just grinding and, maybe getting discouraged and stuff like that. I think what's important is understanding that those numbers from a science, from a data analytics standpoint, over a course of time, those numbers are proven out. They prove out consistently over and over and over again. One of the things that she quoted, she said, and I think I read this to you before, she said, the research showed that over 50 years of research, every 10 qualified prospects, 3 will agree to a meeting, 1 will agree to a long-term relationship. So that is the numbers, man. That's the numbers, and the numbers are what they are. They're not going to change because you got texting and email and social media. Those numbers are not going to change. Those numbers are what they are. Over 50 years, those numbers still are probably the same. We looked at it 30 years ago, 40 years ago, now 50 into the research. Those are the numbers. That's encouraging to me, especially when I feel like it's just a monotonous thing of dialing or calling or following up, because we all go through that. That's encouraging to know that, hey, I need to dial so many people to get a qualified prospect. Once I know how many people I need to dial to get a qualified prospect, I know that 10 qualified prospects are going to lead to 3 meetings, which is going to lead to 1 conversion and long-term client. Pretty impressive stuff. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah. And I was sitting there thinking to myself is, man, I got to step it up, because if I want these amount of clients, you got to keep plugging away.
Yeah. No doubt, right? No doubt. Exactly.
Yeah. I mean, those numbers are good. I love them. I love them. I think it makes you, it gives you some energy. That's for sure. It gives you some, a reason to move forward, man. It gives you some motivation.
Yeah, it does. So we have our compendium, our Bible, if you will, that we use in the dominant follow-up strategies. And and I'm going to bring this up on screen here so people can see it. But really what we're talking about is the same thing that we talk about in terms of a sales funnel. Can you see that, Carlos?
Yep.
Okay, yeah, the sales funnel, right? So, it's like, hey, I got to contact so many new people. Once I contact them, those are going to convert into a meeting. Here goes the actual percent that I can actually met. Here's what was committed, and here's how many were won, right? So that's really what we're talking about, but from a standpoint of, understanding the numbers to me, there's a lot to do up here, but then there's also a lot to do with this conversion here, this contact to meet. And that's, to me, the encouraging part, to know that if I keep pushing people into that funnel and I keep pushing for those numbers of 10, 3, 1, I'm going to be extremely successful, right? Extremely successful. And so, that was just, I thought that was fascinating and very interesting, the science and the research over 50 years that she offered and shared with us.
Yeah, and it's great. I mean, that conversion, from new to contacted to meeting, man, I'm telling you, it's just a numbers game, folks.
Just a numbers game. You said it, and that's what our primary progression of sales tells us. Man, it's just a numbers game.
I keep telling people it's not that it's. I always watch what I say. I try to watch what I say. It's not that difficult, but it's a matter of staying consistent and persistent on your numbers. Look at that. I love that chart. I love that chart.
Yeah. No, you said it well, Carlos. You said it's about staying consistent and persistent, right?
Right. Consistent and persistent. If you stay, you got to stay with it. And like I said, it's not that difficult. I always say that because, people give up too soon. And, they give up way too soon, and they think, oh, I can't do it. It's a numbers game, folks. It's just, if you learn your product, you got product knowledge, and you learn what you're doing, and you're confident to what you're doing. If you're not confident at what you're selling, then it's going to be difficult for you to promote it, to keep consistent. You've got to be confident. You got to be positive about it, and you got to just keep plugging away, and it's a number game.
Yeah, it's a numbers game. You're right about that. She talked about, one of the things that she talked about, we talk about understanding the numbers, understanding the number of contacts, calls to conversions. One of the things that she talked about, to lead into that, it's a great segue, and I'll bring my other screen up. She talked about living by design, and one of the other things, and I'll bring the quote up here so that everyone can see this because I absolutely loved it. It was about, let me get to my application. Here we go. It was about mission. Your mission is greater than your need to be liked. So how does she deal with rejection, and how does she deal with being turned down, and all those attempts with nothing to stand for it right now? It's because her mission was greater than her need to be liked. I love that. I thought that was just so very well put and very well stated.
Yes, and you can't, you you want to be liked, but your mission's got to be greater. You got to be determined. You got to be, you got to go after it. You got to not worry about what other people say or think, and you just got to do what you do every day.
That's right. That's right. Yeah, living by design is something that's her motto, right? And she's very solution oriented, focused on the solution, but the solution's driven by the mission, as far as I'm concerned, right? So her mission is, I want to help people live by design, and if I can identify and understand what their purpose, their needs are, then I'm able to better provide a solution to their potential needs or opportunities or potential goals. And that's the mission, right? The mission is to find people that, that I can provide a solution to their needs. And
Right.
I love that. Live by design, solution oriented, focused, but mission being greater than the need to be liked. I love that. That's the driver.
It is. You like
That's
golf? That's the driver.
yeah. Absolutely, absolutely. So so it's awesome stuff, man. It was a really good podcast. I definitely need to have her on again because it was great. And I thought it'd be good to just kind of just summarize and go through some of the stuff because there was so much in there, in that time frame that highlights are always a good thing,
And what to say? You got to know what you are going to do during that marketing time, during those follow-ups. You got to be consistent with it, because if my thinking is, I've always said that if you keep doing the same thing over and over, it will work. And if it's not working and you have to tweak something here and there, then tweak it, but make it the same. You got to just keep doing it over and over and over. And just adjust it. Once you get some results out of something you're saying, then keep doing that. Then you learn that that works, and then maybe you might have to tweak it up a little bit to get the next one. But everybody's a little different. You got to adjust to everybody. But if you know what you're going to say, you know what you're going to do. When you meet these people, when you follow up with them, and when you get in front of them, then, like, I guarantee you she has a plan. And I'm going to find out today at 2:00.
Oh, are you really? I talked to her yesterday at 3:00.
Yep, I have a call. 2:30. I have a call at 2:30.
Nice. Yeah, she's good, man. She's really good. I'm really pleased with, and I said this last week, I'm really pleased with my decision. I was really pleased with the experience of the chase, and I'm very impressed by the professionalism and the skills. And I learned so much from her, just from our interactions and, in what we do. So I'm always stealing from her. So I like to have conversations with her because I'm always stealing. I'm always learning and growing and stealing stuff from her and using it. So keep that in mind when you talk to her today.
Yeah, I always do. I love hearing it. I mean, and it was funny because she called me and I didn't know, the phone number that was calling, and she called and she set up an appointment. I mean, it wasn't anything. No, it wasn't small talk. It wasn't, hey, thanks for the call or nothing. It was, I'd love to figure out if we could work together. It was what she got straight to the point. She made the appointment and it's done.
Yeah.
Great job.
3 and 1. 10, 3 and 1, right? 10,
Yeah.
10 qualified prospects, 3 meets, 1 long-term customer. So, that's impressive. That's impressive. Those numbers work out. So once she finds a qualified prospect, she's going to try to touch 10 of them and do what's necessary to follow up. She's called me before. I didn't recognize the number. And next thing I know, there comes a text message. Hey, just because I'm like, God, I'm glad she sent that text message, right? Or I'm glad she sent that email because I didn't recognize the number. So that's also why it's important, to have different approaches as well. We talk about the different approaches: calling, email, texting, mailing, right? That's why it's important, because sometimes, we may not be in a position where we're ready to answer the telephone. So those other alternative approaches to contacting are crucial as well.
Okay, so something we got to think about here. Okay. This is what happened to me this week. So I called people this week, and I had troubles getting hold of people this week. And, you go through that, you go through it. That's why I heard it the other day. I should have found where they were saying it, because I heard it on social media, and it says you have to leave a voicemail every single time. You have to leave a voicemail. I'm like, gosh, I wish I could have that, because it's not just comes from us. You know what I mean?
Right.
Because you got to leave a voicemail every single time you call somebody. Well, anyways, I called these people, and I text and I emailed every single person, just like I normally do. Because I think if I don't get them on the phone, then, there's a couple things that I have fallback on. I got a couple different numbers too. One is, if I'm calling somebody here in Kansas, I have a Nebraska phone number. So some people still have their old phone numbers. I do. I have a Nebraska phone number, so not a whole lot of people are going to answer a Nebraska phone call. Well, I text this guy, and he called me instantly. He goes, what's weird is I didn't have your phone number in my phone, and not only that, but it said likely spam.
Yep.
On the phone. So there's all kinds of new stuff that's going on out here in this world right now. And now our phones sit there and say likely spam. Well, I wasn't spam. Right. So who's going to answer that call? So if you don't get people answering the calls, that's the reason why you got to text and let them know who you are or what you want, or not necessarily what you want, but who you are, and give them a summary of what you're asking them for. Or, hey, give me a call real quick. I just had a couple quick questions for you, or email them and say, hey, I left you a voicemail from this phone number. So then that way they can put my name to the phone number in their phone, right. And leave those voicemails and emails. And I left a voicemail, I sent a text, and I got an email, but I got a call right back as soon as I got the text. As soon as I sent the text. But you got to sit there and think, all these phone numbers, I get Nebraska phone numbers. It says Nebraska on my phone, and it's not even the Nebraska area code. So there's a lot of people out there that are getting their phone numbers all mixed up, and it's like people aren't answering their phones all the time. So you got to leave text messages. You got to leave voicemails, and you have to leave emails.
Yep.
You got to do all that follow-up. Because it works. I'm glad he told me that too, because at least I know that my phone number is coming up likely spam from a 402 number.
Yep. You just encapsulated very well why you hit different approaches to hitting people, right? You just encapsulated it perfectly. You're absolutely right. Remember, back in the day, it was an answering machine. You had to leave a message on the answer machine if you wanted to. Some people wouldn't answer the phone. They
didn't have caller ID, and they didn't know you called.
Right.
Hey, there's people that don't have service. Cell service is horrible around here anymore. I mean, some are good, some are bad, but people don't realize that there's times where I get a voicemail, but I never got a call.
Right.
So you got to sit there and think of every single thing that you have that happens to you. I ask, just like I ask how people heard about me, I also ask, I'm glad he told me that my phone number is coming up spam likely. Now I'm going to sit here and think every time I call somebody, my phone number might say likely spam,
Right.
and I'm going to try different ways and I'm going to understand that maybe they're not answering my call. I have a 913 number. I'm going to start using my 913 number more often, so it's just one of those things that you just got to think outside the box, and you got to ask too.
Yeah,
because,
you do. No, you're right. I mean, that's funny that you brought that up, because that's exactly why, it works to leave messages. It works to send emails. It works to send text messages. It works to vary up the number that you call from, right? Your 402 913. All that works. All that helps lead to contacts.
If you can find them on social media, and send them a message. Maybe you are friends with them on social media and they're not answering your call. Send them a message. Hey, I sent you, and I say on the email, hey, I left you a voicemail on your phone number. I called from this phone number. It's just, it's not even saying, I want to sell you something, it's just, I'm trying to get a hold of you.
That's right. No, that's great.
And some people like him, he's like, oh, I could tell that he ignored my call because it only rang twice and went to voicemail.
Yeah.
And I'm sure he ignored it, and he told me it came up, likely spam. So you got to think about that every single time you're making those phone calls. That's the reason why you got to keep doing more and more. And like yesterday and the day before, we've been trying to get a hold of some people to do some showings, and they're not answering their calls. They're not answering text messages, and they're not answering my emails. So, and it's something that they're wanting to make money on. So it's not like I'm trying to sell them something, but you got to keep trying. You got to keep doing it. You got to keep calling. You can't give up. People give up too soon.
Yeah, persistence pays, man. It pays in this business, and the more we continue to push forward. But it's like she said, it's like by design. It's like with a mission. It's like with a purpose. And so, understanding what our purpose is, understanding what our mission is, understanding what we're trying to do, and knowing those numbers, that should help drive us. Once we have a system in place, we have something to capture our leads, we have something that's going to remind us, and then we're going to differentiate and vary our approaches, and we understand the numbers and the science of it, of 10, 3, and 1, 10 qualified, 3 meetings, 1 customer. Once you understand those numbers, then it's just a matter of, do you want it? And what did you say? It's
a matter of implementing it.
What did you say? It's a matter of you want it. I think you said it's not that difficult.
It's not that difficult.
Yeah. Yep, absolutely.
You got to have the desire, the want.
So, yeah.
No.
Yep,
no. You got to have the want. If you don't enjoy it and you don't have the confidence, it's not that difficult to do. This sales is not that hard. You got to be confident about what you're doing. You got to be positive. I don't sell anything I don't believe in. I strongly, I hate to say it, but I strongly believe it. I'm not going to go work or sell for somebody that I don't believe in their product or believe in what I'm doing.
Yeah.
You got to truly believe in what you're doing. And I think people truly do. Maybe they don't. Maybe that's why they switch all the time, But if you don't believe in it in the first place, and you don't have confidence about the product you're selling, then you're not going to want to keep doing it. You can't do it. Stop doing it and do something else.
Yep. Absolutely. Good stuff, man. This is good stuff. I'll post these comments. I'm typing this stuff as we're talking, so sometimes the typos come up, but I'll post these in our comments, and there we go. Desire spelled wrong. Implement was wrong on the last one. Desires on this one. I used to type 75 words a minute very accurately. Now I think I'm like 22 words a minute accurately, and 75 with nothing but mistakes. But that's okay, because I believe that I'm a good typer. So
Hey,
cool, man. All right, Carlos. Well, listen,
that's why
go ahead, go ahead.
I always say you can always admit that what you're good at. I'm not good at typing. I'm not good at computer work.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
You gotta have your strengths
Yeah.
and weaknesses. I'm not good at typing. I'm not good at spelling. You know, you got to have your strengths and weaknesses. You do what you do that you're strong at. Let the others do what they do that they're strong at.
That's right. That's right. That's what makes the world go round. Let people focus on what they do best.
Yep.
So cool. All right, man. Well, listen, I'll let you get to your Friday. I'm excited about today. I had some really good meetings, some really good prospects, and I've reached out to a couple times this week rather, but I didn't get any contacts and I didn't get any conversions. So I'm excited about today, and I'm excited about getting on the telephone because I need to convert. I need to do some conversion. So I'm excited about that, and I'm looking forward to hopping on the phone and just grinding it out, man. I've been doing a lot of calling and just not getting the contacts, but that's okay. Today's a different day, and I'm excited about that. So you know what? Today's Follow-Up Friday. That's what it's about.
That's right. You got to follow up today, and you got to keep plugging away, keep calling, keep positive, keep motivated, and you can do it. And don't forget to text us if you have any questions or comments. 913-703-7000, 913-703-7000.
Text the chat, 913-703-7000, 913-703-7000. Text the chat. Questions, leave some comments. Like, share this podcast as well. We'd love to be able to help anyone who needs some assistance. So that's what it's about. Carlos, have a good weekend, my friend.
You too.
47, buddy. Talk to you soon.
All right. We'll see you.